And by the way, people that end up watching this on YouTube, like his footage is not going to be synced. This is him on Twitch, so there's going to be a delay. So I know that there's going to be people in the comment section like, it's desynced! Rage! But anyway, I wake up this morning, and as you do, you go on to X to see like what people are talking about. And for some strange reason, there was a conversation going on about pay to win. And at the time, I didn't exactly knew why this conversation was brought up. I since then have been made aware why this conversation was brought up. But anyway, I'm gonna read you a post, and then I'm gonna read you my reply to that post, and that's kind of like the jumping board to the discussion that I want to have with you, right? This is somebody that I follow. Please don't like harass this person. He's a cool dude. I've met him in person. He's a super chill guy. But he says, pay to progress and pay to win are different for sure, especially if we factor in MMORPGs over the last 10 to 20 years. All MMORPGs offer pay to progress. It's unavoidable. Rift, for example, you could pay for raid gear, and that is true pay to win in MMORPGs, and the community left. Okay, so I quoted him and I said, I'm about to get crucified for this one. Pay to win and pay to progress are the exact same thing and should just be labeled as pay to win. The gaming community has just been gaslit into accepting pay to progress, and we're currently being gaslit into accepting pay to win.
But okay, so my first question would be, what's the difference between pay to win and pay to progress? Like, what are they claiming as the difference between the two?
So some of the examples that have been replied to me is some people consider that if you can buy, say, an experience boost, that's somehow not pay to win. And I said, I completely disagree. I think that paying for an experience boost is pay to win. This is the same argument that people constantly argue with me whenever I talk about pay to win. People bring up Warframe and say, it's free to play done right, and it's not pay to win. I'm like, no, Warframe is absolutely pay to win. I think that one of the problems, and correct me here, one of the problems is that people see pay to win as such a terrible thing that they don't want their video game associated with pay to win. Whereas me, it's like, I just don't want you to defend it. Like, play pay to win games all you want. I mean, World of Warcraft's pay to win. It's 100% pay to win. And it's like, you can play that. It's whatever, do whatever you want. The part that bothers me is when people defend it.
Okay, so I will say the following. I always like to, in when we're having semantical debates, right? So when someone does this pay to win, pay to progress, I always go, okay, let's apply the exact same logic to something else and see if, like something else that we can absolutely agree is pay to win. Let's apply the same logic and see how that plays out. Okay, so the argument is that if you are paying for a level boost, you are paying to progress, you're not paying to win. Okay, so we agree that, let's say we agree that's true. You're paying to progress. Okay, why is that not pay to win? So their argument then, if I have to steelman it, would be, well, yes, you're going to hit max level faster, but the person that didn't pay for the level boost is also going to hit max level. And just because you paid for the max level doesn't mean that the other person couldn't get to max level either. What would be pay to win is if you needed to pay in order to hit max level, so you would stop at 59, you would never be able to get to 60 unless you paid. That would be pay to win. The other one is just getting there faster, but since both of you are going to get to the same level, that makes it no longer pay to win, it's now pay to progress. Okay, that's steelmanning it, right? I've just steelmanned your argument. Now let's apply that exact same argument to buying gear off the shop. Because I can make the exact same argument now, right? I could say, wait. It's not actually pay to win to sell the best gear on the shop. As long as people can play and still earn that gear, everyone is still going to end up at the exact same place. It's just going to take the guy that didn't pay a little bit longer, but he's still going to have the best gear. So the only way that we pay to win is if the gear that you buy from the shop is item level 400 and the gears you can get in the game is item level 350. Then it's pay to win. But we wouldn't say that, right? If you ask that exact same person, can we then sell gear on the store? They would say, no, that's pay to win. Well, but that means then that now the problem here is that are all pay to win the same? And the answer obviously is no.
In terms of the impact that they have on the game, of course not. No, but that doesn't stop them from being pay to win. That's the point that we're getting at, right? Because one of the things that I was asked in that reply, and that this is something that people always like to bring up because they know that I play Final Fantasy XIV, and so they ask me, well, Final Fantasy XIV sells boosts on the store. Do you think Final Fantasy XIV is pay to win? And my answer is, yeah, absolutely. And the boost isn't even the worst part, in my opinion, because there's a mount that you can buy in the store that has a slightly faster move speed. It's very minimal, but it moves faster than regular mounts at the start of an expansion. Because after you unlock flying, movement speed doesn't matter, everybody's the same. But before you unlock flying in any given zone, that mount moves like, I don't know if it's 10% or 20% faster than all the other mounts. In my opinion, that's even another aspect that's also pay to win. Now, the thing is, like you were saying, what is the impact of it? And in a video game like Final Fantasy XIV, the impact of leveling up is not really a super huge deal because you can just go through the story and you will level up at an adequate pace. You just do the MSQ. You don't have to do any side quests, don't have to grind any dungeons. And by the time the MSQ is over, the game is designed for you to be max level.
Yeah.
That's just straight up the design of the game. Usually you'll even be max level ahead of that. So is it a big deal that you can buy these things? No, it's not a big deal. Is it pay to win? Absolutely. And I don't think that there's an argument to be made against it.
So I'll tell you what is actually going on here. But first, I'll agree with everything you just said. Not all pay to win is equal. You do get certain types of... Like, here's my definition of pay to win. Anytime you can buy anything in the store, right? That relates to pay to win for someone. Anytime you can buy anything on the store. Because in MMO, if I'm playing the game, right, and I want to raid, then I'm not going to consider cosmetics being sold on the store as pay to win. Because I don't give a fuck about the cosmetics, I'm here to raid. But what about the person that cares about cosmetics? For them, you being able to swipe your credit card and get a bunch of transmog that looks really, really better than anything that they can get in the game is absolutely pay to win. Because they can't look that way unless they actually pay for it, right? So that makes it pay to win. Now, of course, in the truest sense of pay to win, I would not call that pay to win. But in the broad sense of pay to win, I would call that pay to win because it's subjective. It depends on who plays the game for what reason. Because the person that only cares about cosmetics isn't really going to care if they sell raid slots on the store because they don't raid. So for them, it has no impact. But if we just focus on the most egregious forms of pay to win, which is the ability to get a leg up on someone else, either permanently or at least temporarily. Buying a boost in order to level faster is pay to win. Yeah. Now, the reason these new little arguments are starting to pop up is the very reason why video games are going to suck 20 years from now. You see, because we're constantly moving the goalposts. We're constantly moving the goalposts just a little bit further down the line. And the reason for it is there are a bunch of people on Twitter right now that have made World of Warcraft their personality.
Not just World of Warcraft, because in this specific case, it's about Guild Wars. And I'll explain to you what the thing was. And I think it's going to blow your mind because it's actually hilarious. But keep going.
Yeah, okay, but I'm talking now specifically about all games, right? You get people that make League of Legends their personality.
Yeah.
And what ends up happening then is because you basically live and breathe World of Warcraft, anytime anyone says anything negatively about your game, they're actually saying something negatively about you, right? It's not that I'm criticizing WoW. I'm criticizing you because WoW is me and I am WoW. So there's no distinction for me between the two. You are criticizing me. So what ends up happening then is I have to start reformulating the meaning of words in order to defend my game. And you see this every single expansion. The WoW player base gets more and more unhinged about the things that they will defend Blizzard from doing.
I've actually said later in that post, I've made another post, and I said that within the time span of 10 years, I believe that people will actively defend the most egregious pay-to-win. Like right now, they're labeling pay-to-progress. They're defending pay-to-progress, and there's one more point I want to bring up about that. But in 10 years, I believe that people will just straight up defend the most egregious bullshit you can imagine. Like imagine Blizzard straight up selling you best in slot gear. There will be people that will straight up defend that like ardently. People will be like, this is fine because the game needs to make money or something ridiculous like that. And they will defend that practice despite paying a sub and possibly even paying like a giga sub for special expansions or something. And they will still defend Blizzard selling them best in slot raid gear. I have no question in my mind that 10 years from now, that is what we're going to see.
So there's this thing called, in psychology, they call it luxury beliefs, right? These are beliefs that are held very superficially. So, for example, when you get super rich people that say they care about the poor, right? Or they're socialists. When you get these really super rich billionaires that claim to be socialists, or millionaires that claim to be socialists, they are socialist as long as their money isn't being taken. It's a luxury belief. They don't actually believe that. It's just something that they can believe it because it has no impact on them. Gamers have the exact same thing. All human beings have these luxury beliefs. It's something I believe because it has no impact on me. So, for example, the level boost. I can defend the level boost because it has no impact on me, either because I've already leveled my characters or I have the money to buy the level boost. So therefore it's not pay to win because guess what? I've already bought some, right? It's a luxury belief. The problem with luxury beliefs, and this is usually how you find out if someone has these luxury beliefs, is you challenge the very thing that they believe. So you start taking from them and then you very quickly learn how not luxury beliefs they are. I'll give you a real world example of this. New York, pretty much all of the northern states in the US, they're all for complete open borders and basically,
Jesus, let's not make it quite that political.
No. I'm not making any judgments here on whether or not immigration is good or bad. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't live in the US. It's not my problem. What I'm saying is, these states are all for open borders, let the immigrants come in and let them stay. Until the southern states decided, all right, well, we're now busing these people up to New York. And then suddenly New York deals with 110,000 immigrants and New York City loses their fucking minds. And New York City is one of the cities that constantly called the other cities terrible people. But the second the immigrants came to New York City was like, wait, what the fuck? We need the borders controlled. New York can't take this many people. Our hospitals are breaking. It's a luxury belief. You don't actually want open borders. You just don't care because you're so far away from the border that it doesn't bother you, right? The other people can deal with it. It's not your problem. That's sort of the issue, right? And that's with gamers the same thing. The second it starts impacting the way that they play the game, that's when they'll start having a problem with it, right?
So
that's when they'll be like, "Oh, this is absolutely pay to win. How dare they?"
So one of the
Anyways,
one of the other things that I want to bring up is, you know how one of the justifications that usually happens, and this is something that I was thinking about today because, I was trying to get to the logical conclusion of it, but one of the justifications that people make is like, well, some people have a job. They can't afford the time to level up. Therefore, this is a way to put them on even footing with the other people that somehow magically don't have a job and yet are still able to just play video games all day. Not exactly sure how these people achieve this. When I find that out, I'll let you guys know, because even as a full-time video game content creator, somehow I can't just sit on my ass and play a video game for a week. I don't know how these other people are doing it that have this magical time and they can just play the game nonstop. But anyway, so for these people that supposedly have a job and they want to catch up and all of this stuff, my argument is, have we been paying attention to what is happening in the economy over the last couple of years? Like, these people that supposedly have a job and don't have time, they're usually working 2 jobs and they can barely afford groceries. Are these the people that going to spend $60 to level boost a character? Or are these the people that are going to have even less time than the other people that, you know, supposedly have all the time in the world and they can level all they want? These are the people that can't even afford to get the level boost. So what happens to them? I guess fuck them. What, you can't afford a level boost? Brokey, get fucked. It's like, where's the logic?
No, but that's exactly the thing, right? Again, this is where we come to the luxury beliefs. That exact person that's defending it, I can almost guarantee you probably all for the poor and for the people that can't pay for themselves, and everyone should help everyone. But then who gives a fuck? Because my biggest problem with pay to win isn't the pay to win. I don't care, actually, if pay to win exists. What bothers me about pay to win is that it creates an incentive for the developer to push sales on the store. Now, if I am selling you a 20% leveling boost, then I almost have a fiduciary responsibility to make leveling as hard and difficult as humanly possible to force you to pay the money for the 20% level boost. Because otherwise I'm just losing money. Yeah, I have this thing that I could make money off of, but I'm not making money off of it because I made leveling too easy.
I'm going to give you the perfect example of this, because this is something that I criticized extensively, and I had a bunch of people tell me this is actually fine, including mainstream journalists saying, no, these microtransactions are fine, it's not a problem. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think this was the first time that Ubisoft did it, where they were just like,
single player game where they fucking sold
here's
armor.
I remember XP booster and a coin doubler. And I was like, wait a minute, excuse me? What the fuck? And so many people, because I played that game for a little bit and I instantly said, fuck this game. This game is ass. Because I was playing it on the hardest difficulty. And listen, I don't know if I ever told you this. I backstabbed the sleeping enemy. So there's an animation of me basically stabbing this enemy through the chest and then pulling my spear out the other end while he's like lying in the ground.
Yeah.
And the enemy didn't even react, and then suddenly just like gets up and goes like, what? What happened? And then he starts beating my shit, and I was like, what the fuck? There's not even an animation. Like, what the fuck is going on? But anyway.
Ubisoft has gone downhill, man. But yeah, I remember this exact, and Ubisoft's argument was, well, you know, we have to put it there for people who work all day and don't have time to level. I'm like, in a single player game? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
What?
And see, stuff like that is called pay for convenience and not pay to win. It's like, what do you mean? Because people are like, well, there's no PvP. What are you really winning? You're winning the most valuable resource you could ever have in your goddamn life, which is your time. It's such a weird thing.
You see, but in that regard, the thing is, because technically, they are correct. It's pay for convenience, technically, right? Because there is no PvP. There is no real end game. It's a single player game. You can play as fast or as slow as you want. But again, the true egregiousness of the argument is the fact that because there is a level boost and a coin doubler, the company now has an incentive to make coins very difficult to get and make leveling very, very difficult to do. And if someone wants to argue about Odyssey not doing that, I remember playing Odyssey and thinking to myself, what the fuck is the point of levels here? Because I would constantly be attacked by enemies that are
level
2 or 3 levels higher than me. And they absolutely shit stomp you. Like, you do no damage to them and they kill you with 2 hits. If they're 3 levels higher than you, it's a one shot. You can't get hit at all once. And so what ends up happening, you constantly have to go grind. You can't play the story because the story levels faster than you. So you have to stop playing the story and then go grind a bunch of fucking levels only to continue the story for a couple of quests, and then you have to go back to grinding because Ubisoft has this weird thing that they're selling on the store. But again, this comes back to people, in my opinion, the average IQ has lowered considerably over the last 20 or 30 years.
You're gonna call them dumb?
Oh yeah, I genuinely, people have become more stupid because and it's not even. So actually, stupid isn't even necessarily the right way.
This is why I like talking to you, because that way you say this stuff and I don't have to say it myself.
Stupid isn't even the right word, because what's ended up happening is humans have gotten more intelligent in terms of we have a lot more knowledge, right? And we read a lot more and we have a lot more book knowledge and shit of that nature. But what's gone completely out the door, I have met quite a few people that's gone to college and has gone through, and my brother actually is a teacher, and this is something that he complains about consistently. He has these students in his class, right? And then they're dealing with issues that have, the issue itself has so much nuance and context that you have to understand in order to actually understand the issue. And these students of his, they have no ability to think through it. Like none, zero. As far as they're concerned, the word is the word and that's all it means. And you try to explain, no, but the word has a shit ton of subtext and context and nuance attached to it. And they go, no, that's the word. So, that's what the word means.
I know that
that's what's missing.
I know that you have your guest coming in soon, and I don't want to take up much more of your time, but I just wanted to tell you.
We can chat. She'll let me know as soon as she's here.
Yeah, but I just wanted to tell you what, like, apparently was the source of this, which I then came across in my timeline. So, you know how I've been playing Guild Wars 2, and I've been singing that game's praises, and I've been like, bro, Guild Wars 2 is amazing. We all need to play Guild Wars 2. Today, they just did something that I was like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? So they put something in the store.
Yeah.
Which is called a Black Lion Hero Point Scroll. Okay. So let me explain you how hero points work, and then you can be the judge of whether or not you think this is pay to win. So hero points, basically when you're leveling up a character in Guild Wars 2, the level cap is 80, and it doesn't go any higher than that. No matter how many expansions they make, I don't think that level cap's going to go any higher because they have horizontal progression, right? So the expansions basically give you, different looks to things, maybe different stats here and there, but everything's of the relative same power level. So if you have the best in slot gear from like the original Guild Wars, that is still valuable today.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the point of their game. So as your character is leveling up, you gain hero points the same way that you would gain talent points in World of Warcraft. And when you get to level 80, you no longer get those hero points anymore in your character. But each map in the game, they have all of these activities and events and whatnot, and one of those events is called a hero challenge. So you go there and you can get additional hero challenges, and what they do is they have these specializations, almost like the new things that you get on the talent points for the War Within. You know how you have like these sub-specs almost, and you're going to get more talent points to put into there? So they have those specializations, and each of them requires like 250 hero points or something like that. And in the new expansions, each of these hero challenges gives you like 10 hero points.
Okay.
And so effectively what ArenaNet has done is they sell this Black Lion hero point scroll in the store, and when you buy it and you use it, it will complete a random hero challenge from any of the maps that you have for any of the expansions that you have. Now, these hero challenges can be different things. So in some situations, it might just be, hey, figure out how to navigate to this zone in the map. And it will be marked on the map, but you'll need like to maybe do a light jumping puzzle or go into a cave or go underwater, whatever, figure something out how to get there. You get there and just like commune with this place of power and you get a hero point. Boom, done. Sometimes you get there and there's an NPC there, and the NPC might give you like a piece of food or a potion. Drink the potion, you get the hero point. Sometimes there might be a negative effect or whatever, temporary thing, debuff, doesn't matter. But you get the point. And sometimes it's a boss fight. Now, I've also been told, I haven't experienced this because I'm not at the expansion level yet, but I've been told that in some of the newer expansion stuff, some of these boss fights are actually quite challenging because they give you 10 hero points. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And so basically with this black chest hero point, you click that and it just, one of these random things just get completed and you get the point to put into your character. Is that pay to win or not?
What you've just described sounds like actually more egregious than just normal pay to win.
Yep.
Because there's also an RNG element to it. So it's almost like a loot box at that point, right? You don't even know whether or not you're buying max level power or if you're just buying some power, but you are buying power.
Yep.
Right? Because from what it sounds like, at least, different Euro challenges will give different amounts of Euro points. And so you can either click the scroll and you'll get 10,
even know how
or you'll get 5, or...
I don't even know how that works. But yeah, because I haven't looked too deeply into it. But to me, just the whole thing about like, so you just complete this as if I've killed like a boss in a map and it's just completed? Like, how the fuck does this make any sense?
See, but that's the... Okay,
so according to Tarn Schnitzel, Tarn Schnitzel is telling me that all the ones that you buy are 10 hero points.
Okay. So they'll give guaranteed 10.
Yeah, they'll give you guaranteed 10 hero points. So they basically destroy some of the more challenging stuff for you, and you don't even have to do it.
Dude, that is so disgusting. So in effect, anyone that is actually doing these hero challenges
it's not,
are just being shat on.
It's important to mention that these things are not hard. And there's usually people running around the map. And this is another thing to me, right? Because they're always telling me that there are these trains in the new expansion. And trains means a bunch of people running through the map and just murdering all of these hero challenges in a big, large group like a Zerg. And all of the people in there, they all get their hero points and all of this stuff.
Yeah, it's like Final Fantasy.
They do the hunting trains, So to me, this has a double-edged sword effect, which is, number one, it really takes a dump all over your image because it's fundamentally a pay-to-win feature. Number two, it basically decreases the incentive for the community to get together and go do these trains because you can just buy it.
Oh, yeah. This to me could potentially, like, I'll be honest with you, this to me is one of those things that the developers bring in and it has the potential to completely destroy the game.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I just think it's scummy, but I wouldn't say it destroys the game.
No, but here's the thing, right? There's been plenty of games in the past where the developers did a seemingly innocuous thing, right? It's seemingly like it's just a little thing. It's not really that bad. But what follows from that is where the real egregious shit happens. This is what we saw with Destiny. Destiny started out, first blaming Activision for all their pay-to-win shit. And then they left Activision and all the players were like, oh my god, we're finally not going to do the pay-to-win shit, right? And then slowly, they started adding more pay-to-win shit. And players were like, this is fine. It's nothing. There's nothing. Yeah. But that led to really bad things. And the reason I say this is I can very quickly see how these scrolls existing can become, can lead to very bad development choices in the future, where they start making more and more egregious things that is almost undoable. So you are almost forced to buy the scroll because these things are just so difficult to do. So because again, we're going back to what we said in the beginning, which is as soon as something like that exists on the store, there is now an incentive to design the game in such a way that that thing becomes a useful commodity.
Yep.
If you keep it easy to do, the commodity it doesn't have a lot of use. But as soon as you start, let's say, for example, next expansion, they design a world boss that requires 100 people to take down, and even then it's like one of the hardest bosses ever, but it gives 500 Euro points.
Whoa.
I'm using a very, very bloated example, right? But it gets 500 fucking Euro points. But the coin have the ability to complete that instantly.
Yeah.
So you can see how very quickly it becomes like, whoa, what the fuck?
It's something that has a lot of potential to just snowball out of control, and I think it's ridiculous. And the thing that really frustrates me is because it is such a good game, and they don't need this, in my opinion. Like, to give you an idea, it's like if this was announced, let's say 3 days earlier, they wouldn't have gotten 35 euros from me, because like a couple of days ago, I actually put 35 euros into the game to buy, like we were talking about the Living World content. I bought all the Living World content and a bunch of like inventory stash stuff for my character. I put 35 euros into the game and no problem whatsoever. If this was in the game before that, I might have not done that, because I was like, no, I don't like it. I really don't like it.
So Aragost, you just stepped into the exact problem that me and Rurikhan is discussing here, right?
It's not a problem for him.
Yeah, but he says he has 464 Euro points stacked because he's maxed out everything. But now that there is that scroll on the store, how long do you think it takes before they go, wait, we have to design a system that eats up these Euro points and makes it a thing that people have to do all the time in order to keep getting the stacks, right?
Yeah.
So very quickly, it will become your problem. You get what I mean?
We'll see.
It will become your problem very, very quickly. And right now you could make arguments, oh, it would be nice to have something to spend it on, until it becomes a place where you have to do it every single fucking day. All of them, constantly, because the system requires you to do them every single day, non-stop. Because I'm trying to make my scroll matter, right? I need to put value behind my scroll. So yeah, I can see how this can become really bad. Really, really, really bad. Chico, how you doing? So Rurikhan, the writer is in.
Oh, hey. Wait, is she? Oh, I thought she was in voice. Never mind. I wanted to say hi. I loved your video, no. Chico. Thank you very much for making that video. That was awesome. I watched it this morning. It was amazing. I shared it in my community tab on my channel. Hopefully more people will see it. But anyways, I'm a head off, and you guys have a good interview. It'll be awesome, I'm sure.
All right, bro. Thank you so much for popping in, man. This was fun.
Thank you. This was good.
Fun learning about that other games have like fucking disasters happening as well.
Every MMORPG, the drama happens. Anyways, getting out of here. You guys have fun.
All right. Peace out, bro.